Emblem Heroes are ruling the game right now. They are the picture of role compression. They are great units that can be used in many different modes, plus they're a skill that you can put on any unit. That is a lot of value, and they are one of the least skippable units in the meta right now. We're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about Micaiah, who's amazing. There are a lot of things that have happened in this last month, but I need to know in the comments, who do you think the next Emblem hero will be? And bonus, if you can tell me what you think their ring will do. All right, we're going to talk about two units that are just dominating the meta right now in Ike and Winter Edelgard, and kind of the swirl around them and what exactly is happening. But let's get to some replays. So first up, we have a little bit of Micaiah here, and this is a wonderful replay that demonstrates how much unpredictability she adds. But it's also a great chance to talk about Ike, and the big reason that he is trending down right here is because people are trying their hardest to counter him, and that means creating a lot of unpredictability. You're about to see Micaiah swoop over, rally, and then have Igreen absolutely obliterate the back line with the AoE that she has. This is the kind of thing that you're going to be up against quite a bit when you're using Ike. That doesn't mean that Ike is unusable. Remember, this is an absolute value here. This is his trend is down. He is still the best enemy phase unit in the game, but that means every single defense is going to be after him, and you're going to get stuff like this. Now, I'm not going to get to the end of this because we don't have time, but I will say he does win this one because Ike is just that good of a unit. But you still lost a unit in the process. We're going to talk about Nurgle next, and Nurgle has been a fascinating case study. And I think we all knew that this was going to be an excellent support just because of Essence Drain, but I don't think we realized how much bulk he was going to have and also how hard he was going to hit. You're about to see him come in here and just absolutely obliterate Ike. Now, a lot of this is because of Essence Drain and a number of other things. This is not going to be a thing that happens every time, but the fact that it can happen makes Nurgle a force to be reckoned with. The other thing he can do very well is resist Edelgard. Winter Edelgard doesn't quite have the oomph to be able to take out Nurgle, and it means you can use him as a frontliner. He's a very, very valuable unit in the best archetype in the game, which is the supportive nuke. The last thing we have to talk about is Emblem Celica, and listen, there are a number of wild things you're going to be able to see, from the actual Emblem Celica line to this nonsense here where Emran warps forward with the Celica ring and everyone else gets around her and just absolutely demolishes this defense without using a single Wings of Mercy. You're going to see a lot of craziness. And again, what we talked about is unpredictability, and that's what Celica is bringing as well. I will say that I don't believe her true value pops out on offense, although it is really neat to see these kind of replays. Where she really shines is going to be on defense, because defense is just so overwhelmed by how powerful offense is right now. I think she is going to be an amazing unit and ring, and I think we're going to see her in a lot of different places. Buckle up. In Anima Astra, we're going to talk a little bit more about skills, because there have been a lot of really interesting ones here, and we've seen them jockey for position, but skills are still the main way that IS is bringing the game forward, although we have seen a lot of good preference weapons lately. Let's just jump right in though and talk about saves. And one of the big things that has happened is Embla, who I thought for sure was going to fade away after her bonus season, and we've just seen her a ton. This is one more chink in the armor for saves that have suffered from units that are much more powerful than them and really not getting an update since Valentine's Day is the last one we got, and Myrrh is good, but honestly, I'm expecting a lot better saves to be coming very shortly. If I were to guess, I would probably say CYL, but we will see when they pop out. The other thing you're seeing is the rise of ranged Gale Force in this replay. And the big thing is ranged Gale Force hasn't particularly gotten stronger, but fewer people are defending against it because there's just so much to worry about for defenses right now. There are a range of different things, and having Embla and Brave Gulveg on the same team is a lot for a team to have to counter. You can see this team just absolutely obliterate the defense that it's going up against. The last thing I want to talk about is Breath of Life, and Breath of Life is fascinating. It is a really good skill, but understand it is not something that is absolutely breaking the game. I actually like the power level. Now what you're seeing here is a bit of Breath of Life combined with Divine Vein-Stone, and I think that's what you're going to find with Breath of Life. When you combine it with other things, it can be a very, very powerful thing, but it's not going to be just absolutely amazing all on its own. You look at Ike, and Ike is only good with Breath of Life because he can run it in his C skill, because everything else is just so powerful. The other thing I will say, because Breath of Life exists, the one unit that is very affected by this is Dual Leon, and Dual Leon has dropped a lot. That is not to say he is bad, but he has come down to earth where he is not in a tier all on his own. I will say if you put him with Fatal Smoke, he can still do a lot of good, but that again starts to get a little bit expensive depending on what you have in your barracks. Let's get into the individual archetypes here, and first off the bat, I just showed you that amazing Gale Force clear with help from the Celica emblem, and then I've got it going down in value. And the reason is units are so much bulkier now. We have Micaiah and Nurgle, who both have incredible bulk and can resist Winter Edelgard, along with other units as well. This gets sticky and makes it harder for you to use Gale Force. Now, Gale Force fans, do not go crazy. I am not saying Gale Force is a bad strategy, but it is becoming harder. For a while there with Winter Edelgard, it was just absolutely brainless, and you threw her out there and things just collapsed around you. You have this clear here where, to be honest, this took me a couple tries to get it just right. That's not to say it can't be done. Obviously, I did it, and I mean, there are a lot of actions running around here with 2 Duo Shirenas and a Winter Edelgard, but I had to think about it with that many actions, and I mean, that's that's saying something pretty big. The other thing I'll say is hero balls are something that is just waiting for saviors to come back. We talked about that a little in the last meta report, and it still holds true. The whole come at me bro approach is something that is, unless you have just absolutely wailed out units or something very expected, it is a tough archetype to go through right now. We'll talk about hit and run next, and honestly, hit and run hasn't really gained anything, but it already had a ton of tools, and much like the Gulveg clear that we saw, folks just aren't defending against it as much. The other thing that's really in this archetype's corner is the fact that you don't need to use Wings of Mercy. So a lot of times you can power through half the team and then run away and be just fine. Add an Embla, and a lot of times you can take out that one Canto Control unit and just go to town, because Canto Control is very important for defenses right now. What I will say is something like traps are one of the best things against hit and run teams, and the reason is they have a nice long threat range while keeping a lot of their bulk. It is one of the best strategies to use right now, but they're very expensive to set up, and that's the one thing. They take very particular pieces, and they take a lot of time, and they take a lot of energy and resources. So what can I say? I love traps, but understand if you are going to set them up, a lot of times it takes a couple seasons to do so. So I want to talk about tanks and cav lines in kind of the same breath. I still find it funny that this is a modern cav line with all of 2 cavs, and one of them is Cavasier. Anyway, Tanks have gone up a bit just because of Breath of Life, but understand it is the most used strategy, so folks are still going to be gunning for you with that Emblem Ike. We've talked about that already though. Cav lines, I still think, are the most consistent strategy right now, just to be completely honest with you. So understand when I have them dropping down in value, that is solely on the fact that Dual Leon has fallen from the heavens. And when you lose your absolute best toy, that means you lose value as well. Again, you Cavline users, have faith, you're still doing just fine, but understand you have lost some value there. This is 2 months in a row of Arena, so maybe Arena's back, I don't know. I'm about to show you a map where actually Legendary Corrin does pretty good. I was looking for one that he didn't do as well, and I was kind of impressed with this and left it in. Understand, this is not a great unit. There are so many reasons why this is not a great unit. They really tried to make him good at everything and just ended up making a mediocre unit across the board. The one thing I say that I do like about this unit is the fact that he's got good fodder. We'll talk about that in just a second, but understand that male Corrin fans, you can use this unit. He isn't quite as bad as Legendary Xander, but he is a unit that is going to take a lot of effort. All right, this next little bit, I want to talk a little bit about scoring and what it's done to the meta, because this is really interesting. For the longest time, duo units were the highest scoring units in all of the meta. And the meta really follows scoring in Arena. You're going to see the highest scoring units over and over and over again. It's just kind of the way it goes. So now that armors are the highest scoring units, you're going to see them everywhere. That means you're looking for different things out of your Arena units, mainly tank breakers. It shifts how you're going to be playing this mode quite a bit, whereas in the past, what you were looking for is anything that could absolutely smash the glass cannons that were duo units. In general, armors are less powerful units, but you do need specific things to take them out. Understand that when you're going in. Also, I mean, if you see an Emblem Ike, you're going to have a counter for that as well. But anyway, that's why for Arena purposes, and this is looking at scoring only, duo units have dropped down a little bit and armors have raised quite a bit, especially dragon armors, because they have the only high scoring tier 5, I don't know what you'd even call that, B skill in high dragon wall. And it's changed the way a lot of these units look. You're going to see a lot more Brave Corrins because Brave Corrin is now the second highest scoring unit in the game. That's huge. But that kind of glosses over how good High Dragon Wall is as a skill. Stopping warping from ranged units is huge, even in Arena, because warping has become that common. So, your warping teams in all of Arena they've probably lost a little bit of value, and any of your dragons have gained it because they now score more. This is a big deal. Every single month, I keep hearing that calves are good, but that will change per the map. And every single map we get, folks still find ways to use calves. You can see this is a cav on cav map here, and it is just an absolute brawl. And honestly, I don't mind the meta. It's a little more fast-paced, and I'm a fan of that. But understand certain things happen because of that. Canto control is a must on every single team. I played over 200 maps with my Sharena trying to get her affinity all the way up, and I gotta tell you, if the other team didn't have Canto control, it was free. So free. It was absolutely fantastic. Canto control, you need it on your team, which probably means Medius is better, I guess, just for the fodder, but I don't want to think about that. The last piece to that is I do think Leon has fallen way down, but understand he was in a tier on his own. Like, he was that good. He still has the best duo skill in all of SD, and that is not disputed. That thing is amazing. This is a great unit. but he's down there with all the other nukes now. So just understand that going in. For you guys who invested in Leon, I still think he's a good unit, and I still think you're going to have a lot of fun using him, but he's not the automatic, gotta get him out of there, veto now unit that he once was. Oh, Ike, I have seen so many arguments on whether this unit is good or not in SD, and the answer is, of course he's good in SD. This unit is a great unit, but like everywhere else, this is the tank right now, and everyone is planning for him. He's not a unit that will absolutely carry your team if you build all of your supports around him and just send him out there. He's not that good, but as a melee frontliner or even a near savior, if you pair him with Soren, he is an excellent unit. What you're seeing here with the value going down is more of a natural degradation. I mean, things move really fast in this game, and folks are planning against him. You don't plan a team unless you can take out Emblem Ike. That automatically tells you how good he is right there. I'm going to play this replay in the background just because I thought it was fun. This was an excellent match I had with Krem where he absolutely just outplayed me 100%. But there are two things I want to talk about, and they both surround warping, which I think is incredible right now. Warping has gotten so many fun toys, and now we have Emblem Celica, who can warp and has pass built into her weapon. This is going to make for some very interesting team constructions, and I am scared to see what this does on the next SD map. But honestly, I like this. I think it makes things a little faster paced. I love Micaiah. I think she's an excellent unit. I think being able to give guidance to any unit is excellent, and I think the fact that she debuffs the enemy at the same time and can hit hard makes her an incredible Summoner Duels unit. Have we seen everything that the Celica ring is going to bring? Absolutely not, and there are a lot of different things that it could bring out. One of the things I'll say though is that does mean that High Dragon Wall is kind of an interesting skill here. Right now the state of saviors is bad. I mean, I keep on hearing how you can rig up one savior or the other to counter this very specific threat. The problem is most good teams are going to have multiple complementary threats, and most of the time your savior is going to die in one hit, so you might as well have High Dragon Wall out there to do something before they do pass out. I was talking to Oblivion and DTM, and they had a very interesting commentary on this, that in fact, dual save teams with Soren, might gain a lot of value because of all this mess. I mean, you have a unit like Emblem Celica who can fly across the map and snipe whatever unit's out there. It means that you need to have your team covered as much as possible. So that's not something I have confirmed, but those are two very, very smart people in the SD realm, and I would be on the lookout for that. Real quickly, I wanted to go over some interesting builds, and the first is a lot of you have Brave Corn merged up because, I mean, the Brave units get reruns so much. As an arena score bot, she is very, very good right now, scoring 770, and all you have to do is add on High Dragon Wall, which is really nice. This is a fun unit that you can get a lot of mileage out of and actually support your team quite a bit. The next up is Defensive Micaiah, and I don't know that there's a mode that she's bad at, to be completely honest with you. This unit is fantastic. This is such an interesting build though. Most of you have Close Foil just laying around in your barracks because you got Julian and have no idea how to use him, and his Refine was trash. Well, here's a way you can use him. This is an excellent A skill because, again, this is one of these newer units that is so overpowered that you have an A skill that's just kind of free. The other thing is Breath of Life, because she has that Uber guidance in her weapon. Breath of Life is excellent on her. She has that kind of as a free spot there. So imagine that, having 2 free spots because you're so powerful. The last is this Emerin, and I'll be honest with you, on this unit's rerun, if you didn't get her, this is a tempting unit to grab. I can't call her a must-have. She's just not at the level of like the Emblem Heroes. But I will say that this unit is very unique, and because of that has a lot of fun things you can do with her. I got her because Ilialator forced me. I literally was just going to skip the banner altogether, and he talked me into it. And this unit, I've used her in Summoner Duels as a really fun Omni tank support. I've used her in defense. She's currently on my defense and is just wreaking havoc. And you just saw the offense replay, and I'm planning on using that team in the upcoming season. She's just very unique, and with the Celica Warp Ring, she becomes even better. So what you're viewing here is actually the second recording of this, and I recorded an entire hour and change episode with Infantry Pulse, and we had audio problems that took up 4 hours of my day today because I was desperately trying to fix them because it was such a good episode. We will have him on down the line, and I promise you guys will love him. But I'm going to leave his last episode right here just because he was a lot of help in putting together this episode. Members, you are amazing, and I'll actually get you that footage so that you can watch it, and take care and schedule an appointment through FEHology just real soon.